Now, welcome back everybody. We're going into the fourth game of this competitive league. We do have 1 loss and 2 wins, which is the record you have to have unless you're undefeated. And we're trying to get our third win. We're playing the Mono Blue Tempo deck. I did the deck tech earlier. I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you're not watching the supercut that I'm going to do for the whole entire sequence of games. And we're going to give the 5-0 a shot because we'd like to get that sweet 2,500 coins or whatever it is and all of the cards. But you're playing Mono Blue. The sideboard isn't exactly the way we want it to be. We need some more common and uncommon mythic, or not mythic, but wild cards to finish out the sideboard for the rest of the counter spells and stuff that we need. But that is quite alright. And we have played against blue-black, controlly blue-black deck, controlly mid-rangey blue-black deck, and we played against green-black. We played against Is It Control. We lost to Is It Control, beat the other two. This hand's obviously very good. We have 2 1-drop creatures, so even if he kills the first one, I can just play the second one pass and then dive down Curious Obsession, start to generate advantage. One of these lands could be like a Trickster. That'd be great, but this is still a very good hand. So let's just go Mystical Herald and pass. This is like the nut hand for this deck, which is I just play the second land, and then I blouse up the Mystical Herald, and it's very good. Now, I imagine he just wants to take out the Herald here and now, which makes complete sense to me. Thankfully, I do have my 3 Diamond Mares against this deck, which is necessary. And we did actually want to draw that Exclusion Mage, so yay. And we'll wait till next turn to go ahead and blouse up our Mystical Herald, holding up protection for it. So we don't really care about a Vishino Pyromancer. I mean, it sucks it's going to deal some damage to us and start to race us back, but we're going to try to outclass them with just raw card advantage. Spell Pierce. Another Obsession. So we could double Obsession here and protect it. And in fact, that might be the best play we have. Only because this deck's very bad at dealing with things in any other way but direct damage. And this Vishino Pyromancer, the only way they could do it is by playing land and having double Wizard's Lightning or Wizard's Lightning Lightning Strike. And now that I say it out loud, because of the fact that they could have that, I think I will avoid burning both of my Curious Obsessions, as both of those cards are 4 of in the mono red deck. So we'll go ahead and get our extra card off of this. Take a dive down, so that's just outstanding news. We've got 2 dive downs. And we'll pass the turn here. So they're dealing some damage. It looks like we're going down to 16 this turn, and then down to 14 after damage. He's going to shock, so luckily we have the dive down. So 1 down. Hopefully he doesn't have too much more interaction. We can keep riding this Mystical Herald for a while. Honestly, we want to draw another single land off the top, either from the Mystical Herald trigger or just our draw step, so we can play the Exclusion Mage. Although, I don't know that we want to be on Exclusion Mage. Maybe we just keep taking the hits from these things. Again, we're not going to play our second Curious Obsession. It doesn't change our clock enough, and we're still pretty exposed to double removal. So we're going to get in there. Merfolk Tricksters are a card we want to start drawing now. So here we will just hold the dive down for the Mystical Herald, and we will take this time to draw some cards. We drew a 4th land rather, so that's just outstanding news for us. Now we don't have anything else to do at the end of turn except for cast dive down, so we are going to cast the 2nd Mystical Herald just so we can put a Curious Obsession on that one next turn and maintain some sort of tempo advantage with our mana. So that's how we're going to play that turn. If he plays something like a big boy, what's his name? Goblin Chainwhirler, that could be an issue. But I'm not going to dive down my Mystical Herald just because of that. I will probably just Exclusion Mage it. So like I said, he's going to play the Chainwhirler here. Now there's 2 things that I can do. I'm definitely going to 13. If I dive down, he can just use like a shock or something on this Mystical Herald. I lose that, and then all I've got is 2, like a 1/1. So we're just going to let that resolve and take the loss of this single Mystical Herald, hopefully drawing another land, and then bouncing the Chainwhirler with our Exclusion Mage. Or we don't even need to draw another land to do that, so we're still in fine shape. Alright, let's see what we got here. Another land. There is nothing wrong with that. We're going to go into combat and see what we draw. Take the action there. It's another Curious Obsession. So in this position, we've got the Dive Down, we've got a Tempest Djinn. We could Exclusion Mage the Goblin Chainwhirler, although this Tempest Djinn is going to have a huge body, so we're going to go ahead and drop that. And since the only interaction we have is actually a single copy of Dive Down, we're just going to take the Tempest Djinn and make him unable to be Lava Coiled. If that's a card our opponent's playing, we very much want to put a premium on not allowing that to happen. And all of a sudden, our clock is looking pretty good. Experimental Frenzy is the hell of a card, but it might be a little late for that card. But if any of you guys have seen Experimental Frenzy in action, you'll know it's a very good card still. So we are going to take this opportunity to block the Chainwhirler. And we'll go down to 4. Or 5. That's even better than I thought. Alright, so it's my turn. We have a Merfolk Trickster, which is very, very helpful. Here, in this exact position, I think it's worth blousing up even again with Curious Obsession. And while I think there's some temptation to do it on Mystical Carol to spread the power a little bit, if I use Curious Obsession on the Tempest Djinn, it puts me in a position where he can't just go Lightning Strike Shock. So I think that's exactly where we want to be. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to draw 3 cards. So he has to draw some serious burn magic off the top of his deck, which he can absolutely do. Make no mistake there. But that said, maybe we hold back the Mystical Carol. That way we can use Merfolk Trickster and Dive Down. Because it doesn't change our clock at all. So we are just going to get in with the Tempest Djinn. So we can block. That way he has to find 2 pieces of burn magic to actually be able to deal with us. And we're still going to draw 2 cards, which is just great. So 1, a 2. We have a Mistcloak Herald. Merfolk Trickster and Dive Down costs 3 mana, so we can afford to play the Mistcloak Herald. If he plays Chainwhirler, so be it. It's not enough anyway. We're going to be using Mistcloak Herald, or Merfolk Trickster, to not allow one of these Vishina Pyromancers to battle, I think. So we'll just end it there. So he absolutely has to have 2 pieces of murder on top of his deck, and that's not one of them, so we're going to resolve that spell. Goblin Chainwhirler. Let's see here. Nothing I can really do about that, so we're just going to have to allow it to resolve. Bye, Mystical Herald. I look like an idiot for playing that Mystical Herald both times, but if he hadn't played a Chainwhirler, it would be an additional blocker. That was my thinking there. Another Get to Lava Runner? Yeah, we'll resolve that. It's not on, though, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and cast our Merfolk Trickster and tap down a Vishino Pyromancer. There we go. That's game. So we were able to run away with that one. It wasn't super easy. There were a few times where it looked like he could just win that Experimental Frenzy. Could have gone in a totally different direction and just killed us, but it did not. This is a matchup where we just want 3 Diamond Mares. That's just a very good card. A card that I've been playing with is Negate, just because of Experimental Frenzy and all of the burn magic that they have. Dive Down's very good, obviously. And I think we will bring in a couple copies of Negate, just because Essence Scatter doesn't do exactly what I want it to on the draw. We will leave in a couple copies. Night Veil Sprite just doesn't quite get the job done on the draw almost ever. Let's see what else we got here. Wizard's Retort. See, the reason I bring in I'm thinking I'm going to bring out 2 Wizard's Retort just because Negate covers most of the ground that I want to cover with my 2-drop counterspells, except for it doesn't have the clause that I need to absolutely have a Wizard in play. Especially since my ideal 2-drop is going to be Diamond Mare. It's actually going to come down on turn 3, but it's not going to work out where I can just use Wizard's Retort the next turn anyway, without only casting that spell, as opposed to having a Wizard and then casting it for 2. And then we really want to drop down another card here. Warkite Marauder, I think, might be the card. I'll keep in 1 just to like kind of play with their Rekindling Phoenixes, but it's one of those cards that just straight up dies to Chainwhirler. And on the draw, I don't like where Warkite Marauder is when I have to like cast it on 2 and they play Chainwhirler. Maybe I bring out both of them and keep a Night Veil Sprite just because it doesn't die to the Chainwhirler. Because they are definitely the beatdown. I'm playing defense here. We'll try it like that. So that's how we'll configure our deck. Unfortunately, our sideboard isn't perfect, but that is fine. That happens. We need more uncommon and common wild cards. Charter Course, Essence Scatter, Exclusion Mage. Even though we are somewhat defensive in this game, Exclusion Mage being the only creature isn't good since he plays Vashina Pyromancers and Goblin Chainwhirlers. Recasting those creatures isn't necessarily where we'd like to see him be. And Essence Scatter is only going to counter his 3rd turn spell. So he's going to have the tempo advantage and be beating my face in. I should have brought in Sleep if I didn't. We are going to mulligan this hand. It's not quite enough. 2 dive downs, a negate, and a Tempest Djinn. This hand is also not very good. Although I can negate whatever piece of bird magic he wants to play. And I can protect the Djinn. So maybe we keep this in hopes of drawing a little bit more juice and just riding this Djinn. It's not very good, but we do have a game 3. And we are very unfavored in the on the draw here. So we're going to keep this hand. Siren Storm Tamer is perfect. So we're going to go get 2 Lava Runner. Now, we could just cast a Siren Storm Tamer here, and in fact, maybe that's what we're supposed to do. I think we will, just because I'd rather him have to burn some burn magic on the Siren Storm Tamer. But we could have played the other land and then used Dive Down on it, but I don't think that puts us at enough of an advantage. He missed his land drop, which puts us in a really good spot. Alright, let's just get in there. Looks like we're going to be fighting a Get 2 Lava Runner for a while. I'll just end the turn. Third land? Not a third land. So we're just racing with 1/1s right now. This is going to be a very clunky game, but I'm pretty set up to deal with whatever it is that he has to do. I just need to start drawing lands before he starts to draw a bunch, and we'll still be in good shape. There's a second land. Vashina Pyromancer is absolutely a card we're fine with casting Essence Scatter on. Our best lands, our best next 2 cards are just land. There's the first one. Now, we could just cast Tempest Djinn. But if he has something like Lava Coil or any type of real interaction, Fight with Fire, he can just kill the Tempest Djinn, then we're in a weird spot. But then we run the risk of waiting too long and him just having a copy of Chainwhirler and then it being super awkward. Although we can't interact with the Chainwhirler anyway, maybe we just take this turn to cast out the Tempest Djinn and hope he doesn't have, like, he doesn't have his next land drop, obviously, so we have to put him on Lava Coil. The only issue with doing that is that we have so many ways to protect it, we really look dumb for just casting that out. But then we look super dumb if he casts Chainwhirler too. But he doesn't have the land, so we're going to keep him off of top decking a land, hopefully. We're just going to get in, and we're going to pass the turn. Runaway Steamkin. So now we really feel like we should have cast that Djinn, but that's what happens when you try to theorycraft all these different plays. Although we should have been punished, we were rewarded instead, which is great. So we'll just play out this Djinn, and this guy has no hope of dealing with it, and we're probably just going to ride this Djinn to victory because he stumbled too hard. So he is going to Lava Coil. Just because we have multiple copies, we use the Dive Down as opposed to the Spell Pierce. Even though the Spell Pierce is at a premium here because he would not be able to pay the 2. But I think I'd just rather Lava Coil, not let him attack in at all. And now I've got perfect protection for Djinn. In this position, he's already so far back on lands, I'm just going to clock him and play another Djinn. And put him at pretty much dead. I don't see an out for this at all. Top deck an island, we win the game next turn. This unfortunately hasn't been a very good run for the red deck. Yeah, we just got this game. So yeah, we got the game obviously because they stumbled pretty hard. Our hand wasn't perfect, but we did develop into a way to just protect our Tempest Djinns and our Siren Storm Tamer. So it was good enough. We wound up beating Mono Red. From what I could see, it was the top tier 75 of Mono Red. It looked pretty good. We did it without playing a Diamond Mare too, which is awesome. But yay, we win things. What is this card? It's a Walk the Plank. I might cast that at some point, who knows. But we are at 3 wins, so we have at least 3 games. Well, we could have 2 games if we go. No, we lost 1. We have between 1 and 3 games to go. So I will be right back in just a second.